This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DevOps Training. This is Shadab Akhtar. I'm a software consultant and corporate trainer. We are working with Ansible Tower. In the last session, we were facing issue related to the Ansible Tower. We are not able to log in into UI user interface. So this was the problem. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going ahead and we can proceed with our Red Hat credentials. If found in your Red Hat, so you can proceed with your Red Hat Ansible Tower with the same credentials. This is the solution. So I'm going to keep here and I want to give here a solution. So solution is go ahead, go ahead with your Red Hat credentials. So this is a solution for previous issue. Let me go ahead and first of all, I want to log in UI and after that I will complete the PPTs. Three PPTs is left related to the topics and then I will go ahead with the rest of the hands-on and practicals. Like I will complete these hands-on and practicals. Controlling access with user and role-based access control. And then I will go to the next hands-on creating the static inventory and these resources I will create and after that I will go to the more hands-ons. These all are hands-ons related to Ansible Tower. So let's get started. I'm just going to move forward to my AWS account this time. So let me go ahead with my AWS account. I'm going to click on services. I want to move forward to EC2. Elastic Compute Cloud. It is a virtual server in a cloud.
Sorry to interrupt you here. You are saying Red Hat credential. Is it something that you got from that Red Hat organization, or is it something else?
Once you will sign up your account in a Red Hat, then you will set your credentials, username and
Okay,
password.
that same
So as
credentials
per
we
the
use.
discussion with, yes, yes, that same credential we can use. After a
Okay,
long research in a documentation and escalating to the support team in Red Hat, I discuss with multiple peoples, so they give me this solution.
okay.
You
So
can
instead
go
of
to your Red Hat community. Yeah.
okay,
Instead,
instead of
that was a old process. That was
okay,
for Ansible 3 point something process, but still in current we can directly go to the Red Hat credential. No
okay,
need to download a credentials and upload. Not
okay,
required for trial version. If you are going to for paid version, so they will provide you credentials, separate credentials. Yeah.
okay, cool.
Okay, now I want to move forward to the instances and I want to connect with same virtual machine, Ansible Tower. This is Ansible Tower virtual machine. It is in stopped state. Let me start this virtual machine. Obviously, we need a time to resolve issues. If uh, we need a time to read the documentation and escalating the same issue to the genuine person, especially in support team, not only Red Hat support team, AWS support team, or other support team. So we'll find we can find the right solution or root cause why we are facing the same kind of issue. So it maybe take a time. So now I'm going ahead with the same virtual machine. Let me go ahead with refresh here and I want to select this Ansible Tower virtual machine. I want to connect with this virtual machine. So this virtual machine is M4 large virtual machine with 40 GB EBS, Elastic Block Store. These all are the prerequisites for Ansible Tower. So I'm going ahead with EC2-user and IP address. I'm gonna click on plus sign, then authentication, allow agent forwarding, appearance, and then change. I want to go ahead with 12 size. I'm gonna click on OK. I'm gonna click on OK, and I'm gonna click on accept. Now, so I want to show you first with the help of ps-ef and then # grep sh. So you can see there are several things related to the sh, right? I'm going ahead and now with this public IP address, I'm going to copy here and let me go ahead with new tab and I will paste here this IP address / login and I will press enter. Okay. I'm going to click on advanced and then I will proceed to this IP address which is unsaved because there is no certificate for this IP address. Now I can proceed with the credentials. Um, Let me go ahead with admin and then admin, admin password. Now I will click on sign in. Okay, see, I logged in with the help of username and password which I give in my inventory. Inventory files comes under Ansible Tower directory. And then here I have to provide my credentials, means Red Hat credentials. So I'm going ahead with Shadab 97 at the rate gmail.com. This is my username in a Red Hat. Shadab 97 at the rate gmail.com. This is super secret password. Obviously, nobody can disclose the password. I'm gonna click on get license. Okay, now you can see showing here a
Yeah.
60-day product trial of Red Hat Ansible automation platform, self-supported, available here. And now I want to select this one and let me go ahead and select. You was asking something, Ritesh?
Sorry. Yeah, Shadab. You have logged in two times. This is Red Hat customer credentials, and prior to that, what was that credentials?
Inventory credentials, if you remember. I'm going ahead with Ansible and here is inventory file, right? In this
Okay.
inventory file, I set three passwords for admin password and PG password and Rabbit that here. So
Okay.
I went with admin password.
So that I can see in the previous session, right? Recordings.
Yes, you can see in previous one. So we have
Yes.
to select agreement and then I want to uncheck for uh, and let me go ahead with select here and then submit. Now this is the dashboard for Ansible Tower. This is dashboard for Ansible Tower. By default, you will find multiple things. For example, if you will check in organization, so you will find a default organization. So you can keep multiple things in an organization. If you will check here showing host one, this is the default one. If you'll focus here showing inventories one and default project is available here and many more things. Let's see one by one. First of all, I want to go to the organization here and in organization you will find multiple things. You can add here users, inventories, job templates, team, projects, admin detail. If inventories. I'm just going to click on inventories this time. In inventories, you can see the default inventory available, showing demo inventory, and then organization if you'll focus showing default. This inventory comes under default organization. Jobs. So there is no job. So we need a multiple things to run our jobs. So let me come to the next templates. Demo templates available here, showing a demo job template. As we already discussed in a already discussed. If I'm going to click on credentials, so default credentials available for admin. So here is the name of credential, demo credentials, and then kind or type. You can see here machine and showing owner admin. Projects showing a demo project already here, demo project. And if you will see the source control or version control showing here a git, git is a version control. Come to users, it is showing admin user here. Username is admin. So admin user have authority to create. Okay, let me come to the PPT. Then we'll discuss the rest of the thing. I'm just going back to PPTs. I already shared with you. So let me go to my personal notes or PPTs. Few PPTs is left to discuss. I'm going ahead here. DevOps and Ansible. I was in a last configuring and running automation Ansible Tower. So we discussed multiple things in a last session related to the theory, and I want to go ahead in a last few more things, few uh, you know PPTs is left. I want to discuss last few PPTs. Okay, so I want to come here. I did not discuss to you related to the troubleshooting. So troubleshooting Ansible Tower and building blocks. So these PPTs left, you can double check here PPTs, and after that you can complete your hands-on and practical. Let's get started with hands-on and practical. So first of all, controlling access and users and role-based control. So you have to log in UI, user interface, Ansible Tower user interface. And then by default, you will find inventory, and you can create your own inventory as I'm going to create now. Let's see in dashboard. In a dashboard, you will find option inventories in the left hand side. This is for inventories. I want to create my own inventory. I'm just going ahead with inventories. So in inventories, you will find a default inventory showing here a demo inventory, and then it comes under default organization. Go ahead with plus sign in the right hand side upper corner. I'm just going to click here and you will find two options. I'm going for inventory. I want to provide inventory name. So I'm going for inventory name as static inventory, and I will paste here. Description. So first inventory. Okay. It comes under default organization. And rest of the thing I want to keep as it is. I'm going to save this inventory, this detail. If you'll focus, so in the last, you can see inventory detail, static inventory, and it comes under default organization. Inventories this time. So one more inventory you will find here, static inventory, which is customized, created by me, which comes under. Let me go back to the notes. Now, as we already done in our Ansible, right? In host inventory file, remember, in a host inventory file, you can add your remote servers, remote server 1 or remote server 2. We already done. Same here with the help of UI, Ansible Tower UI, you can add your hosts. Add host in a same inventory, give host name as this name, or you can give any other name as per your need. We know if you are going to add your host, so host you can keep in DNS name, or you can give in IP address, or you can give group name, and you can keep server detail. So I'm going to keep this host, first host, in an inventory. So in inventories, you will find one option here for hosts. I want to click and showing one by default host. This is known as local host, and inventory name is demo inventory. Means this host comes under demo inventory, which is a default inventory. Now this time I'm going to let me go ahead with hosts and uh, uh, um, right now I'm in a host. uh, I'm gonna click on inventories again, and let me select static inventories. I'm going to click on hosts. Okay. Okay. Right now I'm in the right place. Actually, I did not select my static inventory. This inventory I created, uh, and in this create new host. Host name in my case web1.example.com. Description, this is for web servers. Now, I'm going to save this information. Okay, you can see in a last web1.example.com comes under static inventories, which I have. Let me create one more host. I want to come in a host again, and I'm gonna click on plus sign, and I want to go ahead and give one more host, and this time web2example.com, and here web servers. Now I want to save this information. I'm gonna click on save. Okay. If you'll focus, two web server I added in an inventory, and host name Our remote server name is a web1.example.com, web2.example.com. To the nodes. Now, we can create groups also. This is related to the individual, this is related to individual hosts or individual remote servers. If you want to keep if you want to keep your remote server or host in a group, so you can create a group. Next task is to create a group. I'm just going back and you will find one of option here, group option. So let me go ahead. Here is a group option. I want to go ahead with groups. So keep in your mind, you should be in a right place. Right now I'm inventories and then static inventories, which is created by me, and then host. And now I want to create a group. So right now I selected here groups. Okay, so let me come to inventories. Let me select here a group and I want to add a new group. So let me go ahead with group detail. So group name I want to give as a web server, web servers. So description is this group is for all web servers. I want to save this information. Let me go to the groups this time. So I created a group. Inventory is static inventory, and I want to come in all groups so you can see the group name. Here is a group name. Let me come to this group, web server groups. If you want to add host here, so you can go to the host and you can add your existing group, existing host, or you can add a new host. I'm going to click on plus sign. If you want to add your existing host in this group, go ahead with existing host. I have a two hosts I already have. I want to select all, means of both, and I want to keep in this group. Now edit. For example, you want to add one more host to inside this group, go ahead with plus sign and click on new host and give here a host detail. For example, web03.example example.com. Now, this is third web server. Now, I'm gonna click on save. If you'll focus in this group, if you'll focus here, inventories, static inventories, all groups, our group name is a web server. I added 3 hosts. Create group for web servers, or you can create a group for databases, etc. Same we already done in a host inventory file. If you have a host inventory file, so you can keep multiple groups. Like you can keep a web server groups, or you can keep database groups, database groups. So these groups you can keep in host inventory file, and inside these groups you can keep your remote server, or you can keep your hosts. Like in our case, I use only web server in our Ansible sessions. Go back to the notes. So what we have done so far, we created a group as a web server. I added two existing host in a group, and I created a new web server host, and I added in the same group. If you want to create a more group, for example, you want to create a database group, so you can go ahead and create database group. After that, you can add databases. Let me go ahead this time. I want to create one more group as a database group. Name as a database. I'm just going to copy this name. Let me go back. And this time I want to come in all groups, and I want to create one more group. If you'll focus this time, or only one group is showing, web server. I want to create one more group here. I go ahead here. This is for database, and here I'm going to give database in a description. Now I can click on save and save the information. Let me click on all groups. You can see there are two groups this time. One for web server, second for database. Add host for group. I want to click on a host, and I'm gonna click on plus. Let me go to create a new host. So I want to give a host name here, db01.example.com. Okay. Now database one. I want to save this information. This host added in a group. Now let me go back to next one. I want to come in a group, and I want to go for database. Uh-oh. It is not showing here. Host I created, and let me go ahead. Selected host. Associated host. Okay. Let me create one more. I'm just going to click on plus sign and a new host. And this time I'm going to give db02.example.com, and this is for database 2. Now I want to save this information. Okay, so I already done multiple things. Let's understand what we have done so far. So I created inventory, right? I already created inventory, inventory as a static inventory. In this inventory, I added host, three web servers, and two, three web servers and two databases, database server. And these three web server I already keep in a group. Group name is a web server group. So I already created a group. In group, I create for one for web server and one for databases. These two databases I already keep in a group name database, and three web server I already keep in a group name web servers. So these tasks, these things I already next. Supply variables, supply variables to created static inventories. So let me go to set variables for the group first, and I want to give first variable as a state and then prod. Let me go ahead. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to supply variable to created static inventory, and in a first I want to give variables for the group. Let me go ahead, and I want to move forward to the group first. So I'm gonna click on all groups, and I want to proceed with web servers. In a web servers, I want to supply variables. So let me go ahead. I want to copy this information, and let me keep here. Keep in your mind, right now I'm in a group, all groups and a web server, and I supply these variables state colon prod for web server group. I want to save this information. Okay, let me go ahead with the next. I'm going for service database. This time I'm going for database group. Let me select a database group, and I want to supply variable here, service database. I'm going to save this information. Okay, let me go back and set variable for hosts. So I'm going to give to web1 as a role primary. This time I'm going for hosts. And first, okay, let me go back to the groups. I want to select a web servers. In a web server, I want to select hosts. I want to go for first web server, and I want to supply variable here. This is for role primary. I want to save this. Let me go back to hosts. I want to go for web server 2, and I will change here primary to secondary. I want to save this information. Okay, fine. Okay, so far I created inventory, and I created web groups. I created web servers. I created database group. I created database server. I supply variables to the group as well as hosts. Now next, hands-on and practical related to the creating machine credentials. By default, you will find a credentials and you can create a new credentials for developer as per the designation. This is customized. I give here developer, it may be a tester or it may be a admin, etc. So default credentials exist in a credential tab. If you will go back to the dashboard, you will find one of option here for credentials. In the left hand side, you will find option for credentials. I'm going demo credentials available. And if you'll see the kind showing machine, if you want to create a credential, go ahead with plus sign. And then you have to provide your credentials name. In my case, I'm going ahead with the credentials name as a developer. Okay. Access. So this is for access for developer, access credentials for developer. Now, next, select organization. I would go for default organization and credential type. You will find multiple options here. I want to go for, okay, I'm not going for this credential type. Let me check. Okay, it is not necessary this time. So uh, I have to go for default organization and credential type. I'm going for source code. I'm going to select here the control. I'm going to click on select and then I'm going here for username as developer and password as per your need. I'm going for developer. So this is my password. I'm going to save this information. Now new credentials is created. If I'm going to click on credential tab again, now showing one more credentials. Name of credential is a developer and this time kind is showing source control. Okay, one more credential I'm going to create here for the developer. I'm going ahead with plus sign. Let me go ahead with developer and description. This is for machine and let me select organization. As a default, I'm going to click on select. Let me go to here for machine. I want to select this one and let me go ahead and select. Okay, so developer and then password as developer. Let me check and verify. Obviously, don't disclose your password to anyone except genuine user. And I want to save this information. Let me check in credentials type, credential tab now. If you'll focus, two developer is created, one for source control as a kind and second machine. so far we have created inventory, we have created groups, we have created a host, we have created a credentials, machine credentials as well as control credentials. Now, next thing we can create a project. You will find a default project if I'm not wrong. Let's see in a project tab. I'm going ahead with project tab this time. In the left hand side, you will find option projects. I'm going to click here and then you can see demo project here. I want to create one more project here. I'm going to click on plus sign. Project name as Tower Project 1. I'm going to paste here. In description, this is Ansible Tower project. By default selected default as an organization. I'm going for source type, source code management type. I'm going for Git. And you have to provide source detail. If you have your playbook in your source control, then you can go ahead. Let me go ahead with my GitHub account this time. In my GitHub account, I have a multiple repositories. This time I'm going for Ansible Tower. So if you'll focus, I have here one repository, Ansible Tower demo repository. I'm going for the same site. If you'll focus, I have here readme.md file and then demo.yml or URL from this site. Okay, this URL or source code management URL I want to keep inside here. Source code URL. Fine. Let me select here, you know, this option update reversion on a launch and cache timeout. I'm going for give it 10 seconds. SCM credentials. I want to select as a developer. I'm gonna click on select. Fine. Okay, let me check and verify something is left. So SCM type, I need to select a Git. I already selected here as a Git SCM type, and the next one SCM URL. So you required in your GitHub account YAML. So this time I already paste this URL. This is my GitHub account. You can follow me on GitHub also, and you can fork same repository. So this is URL https://github.com. Shadab Akhtar 97 is a username in a GitHub. Ansible Tower demo. This repository available in GitHub. And SCM credentials select you created for GitHub. So I already selected for this one developer. Okay, let me go ahead with the next SCM update option, update review on launch, and then case time 10 and then save. Okay, fine. I'm going to click on save here. Everything is fine. Let me check in a project again. I have one new project here, a tower project one. This project I just created. Okay, let creating job templates. Creating job templates. Let me go back to the templates. So you will find a demo templates. If you want to create, you can go ahead with plus sign and go ahead with job template from drop down menu and go ahead with your template name. This time job template 1. I'm going to paste here, and then description. This is first job. Okay, you have to select job type as a run, inventory name as I already created static inventory. I want to select the same one. Project you have to give here. Okay, let me go ahead with tower project one. Same project I'm going to select, which I already created, and playbook. See here detail. This time I'm going to choose demo.yml. This file is available in my GitHub account. Okay, fine. Let me go to the credentials. So I created a credentials as a developer. I'm going to select the same one. Okay, so the rest of thing I want to keep as a default. I'm going to select here enable privileges escalation. So these information, if it is correct, then you can go to the save information and you can launch your you know job. If you'll focus in the last, it is showing job template one. You can launch from this place. Here is option launch or in left hand side of a corner. I'm going to click on a jobs. Here is one, tower project, SCM updates. If you want to execute this, I'm going to click on the same. Now it is showing it is in running state, and I'm going to click on here, tower project. If you'll focus, it is showing success. Everything is fine. Everything is a good. Everything is fine. Whenever you want to execute your playbooks in a CLI, so you have to provide your playbook and then Ansible and your playbook name, and you will find the result. Same in Tower. So Tower project, you can see the place, task, host, and then many more things here, right? Detail. Everything is a look good, and you can see our jobs is a success. So these resources you have to create, and after that you can run your project or run your jobs. So it is little complicated. You have to complete hands-on your own, so you will understand well. And there are several things you have to add in your Ansible, and after that you can complete your tasks. So it is enough for my side for today. Thanks to listen to me. In the next session, we'll continue next topic. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask me.